The Grand Tourer aluminium rooftop tent is genuinely designed by campers for campers. The immense amount of R&D we put into this incredible bit of gear means it's a rooftop tent that has amazing quality and features at a price that simply blows the competition away. Here's 5 design features that make the Grand Tourer aluminium rooftop tent the ultimate rooftop tent. First of all, its shape is aerodynamic. The streamlined design cuts through the air, saving you money at the bowser. There's 130 mil of internal space once the tent is folded down. That's enough room to leave the ladder, poles, as well as your pillows and blankets, saving heaps of room inside your vehicle. It has 3 access points, one on either side and one at the rear. So if you're running 2 awnings or a 270-degree king wing awning, you can still access inside the tent. It has a genuine 2-minute setup. Even with one person, your sleeping setup is sorted as fast as it takes to grab a beer out of the fridge. The accessory rails allow you to customize your rooftop tent with awnings, lights, or even solar without drilling, screwing, or gluing that can affect the tent's integrity. The Grand Tourer aluminium rooftop tent was designed by campers for campers. It's refined, tested, and suited to Australian conditions. If you want an aluminium rooftop tent that'll perform day in, day out, then the Grand Tourer aluminium rooftop tent is for you.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to another show of the Overland Show. So in this episode, we're going to talk about why we choose to sleep on the roof. And it's the age-old question whether a rooftop tent is better than a ground tent for the Philippine settings. I'll get into that in a bit. So if you haven't met me yet, I am Joel Pedro, and I am the Chief Adventure Officer of Overland Kings. And at Overland Kings, what we do is we try to set up overland vehicles that are bespoke, that will cater to your adventure. So if you haven't seen anything yet, so stay tuned, and we'll talk about the roof tents and the ground tents in a short bit. Hey guys, so welcome to the Overland Show. If it's your first time to join us, welcome. And you know what? We want to thank you. What I realize is there are so many things to do at this time of the day, 9 o'clock, it's not, and spending time with us for the next hour, we really appreciate that. So we value that and we want to do our best to make sure we keep it entertaining and informative. So, if you have any suggestions, feel free to comment and feel free to like us. Hit that like button or smiley face if you're watching now to help our feed. And we're live both on Facebook and YouTube. So if you haven't liked or follow us yet, please don't forget to hit that button on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe and like our YouTube channel at Overland Kings. It means a lot. So with that, let me introduce my partner in crime as usual. He's an advertising director, a fellow Overlander, and a brother in Christ. Let me introduce to you Mr. Jake Soriano.
Hey, Joel. Nice to see you again.
Hey, there
It's
we
gonna
go.
be a great night. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone to the chat and everyone watching us right now. It's going to be a great show. I think we have something great in store for you tonight, right, Joel?
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's something. I think it's a topic that most of us, whether in our head thinking about it or on our own experience, probably have gone through. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even before I got into overlanding, I would always consider and look at tents. I don't know.
Yep.
Because I think growing up, right, we're sort of like, we want to build clubhouses. We want to build little forts and all of that. So we grew up trying to develop our own place. And I think a tent out in the wilderness is actually your little oasis, your little home. So choosing the perfect tent that fits you is something super important, and we've got some options, and there are so many options that we're going to discuss, even ground tents. So it's going to be exciting times, I think, tonight.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just trying to click my share button here. So give me like a minute. Parang okay ang okay ang what do you call it? Background music mo.
Oh, this is something we're experimenting with. You like it? You like it? Let's have some.
Guys, if you like the background music, hit the like button. Yan. Kaya lang, paano ba to i-share? Kakagulo ako sa share. Yan, trying to share it on trying to share on my page. Pero okay lang, sige. Mamaya na lang yan. Techie. Hindi tayo techie eh. So tuloy-tuloy lang natin. Bahala na. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So what's first? What are we going to discuss
tonight? You know what? I think we have to share with the guys who are watching why we chose this topic.
Okay.
And one of the things now is, guys, as we face this COVID-19, I think travel as we see it will grossly differ from how we quite understand it right now. I read some articles about plane travel. No, tama ba, Jake?
Yep.
When like plane travel won't be air travel, might be a little
air travel this year
different.
Is going to be something that's going to be put on a hold for most of us. I think a lot of us already canceled our trips that we already had planned. Even me and my family, usually we head out during the Christmas season, and I think this year it's not going to happen. So change plan muna. I think we'll have to resort to finding something to do here within our lovely country. And the beauty about it, there's so many things to see here that many haven't seen yet. And I think overlanding is something that you guys can explore if you haven't done it and try it out. It's a great chance to be able to see things that you haven't seen.
Yeah. What you mentioned the word "try it out." No, I think overlanding is basically land travel, and part of that lifestyle is travel with comfort. And with that travel in comfort, that's where we're coming in tonight. What's the topic tonight, Chick?
Tonight, we are going to be discussing different sleeping arrangements, but specifically why Joel and I choose to sleep on a roof tent.
You sure I picked the roof tent? We're not too sure about that sometimes. Yeah.
Well,
so,
ano?
What are you looking? What are you looking forward to after COVID-19?
After COVID-19, I'm actually looking forward to heading out on our first overlanding trip. I think we've been talking about it for a while now with the group.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
my dream destination. Pero feeling ko that the main change is gonna be smaller groups. I don't think we're gonna have like where we used to like 20 rigs or 10 rigs. I think one of the things that might change is actually probably smaller groups. No?
Smaller groups, yeah. I think what they said online, correct me if I'm wrong, gatherings should be kept for like 5 to 8 people. I'm not sure exactly, but very small groups. So definitely not gonna be traveling 10 or more rigs.
Yeah,
for a while.
I feel like it's the same way. Quick shout out, Miko. Miko, are you bagong gupit? Yes, it's done by a pet groomer. I mean, my pet. It's an pet grooming.
Your pet
Wait,
did
let me
it,
show you
your pet
how it
did
looks
it.
like. No, not my pet did it. Here. Wait, there you go. See, my razor has a dog on it. Is it clearing up? There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where'd you buy that?
My
Why did
wife.
you have that for a while?
No, we bought this before the lockdown. It came 1 month late. It was supposed to be for my dogs. So
It turned
yes,
out
if you're
to be the
wondering
dog.
if I if you're wondering if I used it with my dog first, no, I used it on myself before. Then we did the dogs. I'll show a post
I
tomorrow.
wouldn't judge you if you did it on yourself first, or on your dogs first.
Well, Martin would work. It's black then. Eh. He's watching me right now, by the way. Yeah. Sir Durian Ramirez, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining in from Davao. Hi. So thank you for joining us tonight. Oh,
Pao and my wife Ria, and my
hi,
dad is
Ria.
also watching. Thanks for
hi
joining
guys.
us.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining.
Aw.
Let's go.
Okay,
So, you know,
let's move on to the first topic.
Preferences. Yeah, okay. Preferences ng the main debate that we have to discuss here is a roof tent better or a ground tent's better? Those are the main topics. And hopefully by the end of the show, you will have an idea on what's right for you. Because without preempting anything, I don't think there's a distinct right or wrong answer here. A lot of things have to boil down into preference, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Yep. So, game.
Okay,
So first let's go
ground
with
tent.
what? Go ahead.
Ground tents.
Ground.
I think the
Okay.
first one I want to discuss for the ground tents would be actually a very simple option. It would be do you have it there, Joe? The 2-second pop-up tent of Decathlon. That's a
Alright, let's show
no-brainer.
this.
You have it there? Yeah, that's a no-brainer ground tent that anyone can pick up. I think you have a couple, Joel, right? All right.
When I started before overlanding, I used to hike. So I think if you're hiking, the main criteria for getting a tent is lightweight. I don't know if you've had that experience, diba? Or kasha sa, it should fit the rear of your what do you call it? The rear of the backpack.
Yes.
Sige. So let's play the ground tent audio. Yeah, nakikita mo ba to?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the ground tent. So usually ground tents are packed in a bag,
Yes. This is the one with poles, right? This is not the 2-second one? Okay.
Yep.
Because, well, I have a little con to this. I think.
Okay.
I'll share my story after.
Pro muna tayo. Okay.
Pro muna,
Go
pro,
with the
pro.
pros. Pro muna.
Bro, it's cheap.
Okay, price.
Price is very. I'm not sure the exact price, but it's affordable compared to the other options. That's one pro. Do you have another pro, Joe?
Okay. I think pro is space.
Okay.
When I say space, if you look at these tents, you can a ground tent when you're put it on the floor, you can stand inside, right?
Yeah.
If you're in short, it's a roof tent. Usually it's a little smaller. You can't stand. So a ground tent gives you space to stand up. So I think ground tents has the advantage of space. You can put a chair inside while it's
You can change
raining and
inside.
sit inside.
It
can be a double. Yep. Okay, so those are two things. So price, it's cheaper. Two, space. What else?
I have another pro. Okay, another pro would be packability. It's easy to toss in your car. If you saw the very start of the video, it just packed into a pretty compact case.
Mhm.
But there's also a con to that, which, well, when we get to the cons, I will share a con to that.
Okay.
Okay?
Pros. One more for me. Pros is you don't have to climb.
Okay. Oh, definitely.
That's actually a pro and a con. You don't have to climb. I don't know if you've gone into the situation when you hit the campsite and you've had a little too much to eat or you've had a little too much to drink and you have to get up to your tent. Sometimes can be dangerous. So to get up on a ladder. So a ground tent pro is you have to or ito, I'm sure something has happened like this. You forgot your bag inside your car and you're inside your tent and you have to go grab something. Right? Oh,
Yes, that has happened to me a couple of times.
Then so ground tent. So yun yung I think those are some of the things. And what else for you?
For when are we in cons? Because if it's in cons, I've got a couple.
We're still in pros. We're still in pros.
We're pros. Someone's hungry.
Pros.
We're still in pros. Okay. For pros, I think
we're in the Philippines, bro.
in the Philippines, Manila, Philippines. Okay.
Yeah.
Another pro for me would probably be. Actually, I think that's it for me for the ground tents. It looks good. It actually looks good. Looks decent. Looks wise, right? Because that's another factor that you want to consider. Pogi naman siya.
Let's check the guys. The comments. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sir Chris. Hi, Sir Chris. Hello. Sir Chris says, "Bro, you can explore with your rig leaving the tent setup in the camp." I like that.
Good point. I like that point. Yes, definitely.
That's a good point. You know what? On that, let me throw a question here. No, I think the first question you got to ask is, what type of lifestyle are you doing? I think that's the first question you ask. When I say, like for example, are you the type of camper na when you hit your campsite, you want to go hiking, diba? Or what type of lifestyle? Like, are you the physical type? Diba? When you get there, kasi sabi ni Sir Chris, no? If you go to a location where you're just sitting and you like base camp setup, then probably you want a mobile fort on your glamping setup. Then it's you can consider different options. But I like what he mentioned that if you're into getting your car parked and then taking a day hike, or not a day hike, or if you want to park in your setup and then you want to take your car to a off-road trail to go play with your vehicle, then you don't have to pack out everything, right? You don't have to pack all of the stuff back into the car, close the roof tent. Jake, remember that time we were in Batangas?
Oh, that's what I wanted to share.
Sige, go.
That's where my relationship with ground tents ended. It was a horrible experience for me. And well, from what I thought was, okay, let's just put it this way. It was my first overland trip that I ever went on. It was a beach trip. I had no gear. I had no tent. I had no nothing. Joel lent me one of his overland rigs. It was a Jimny, so not much space inside to put anything. There was no roof tent. There was not much to do with the rig. So I had to sort of get my own gear. So I decided the best decision would be to come up with a ground tent. Since it's cheap, I can find one like right away. It's not hard to find. I can go to Decathlon, choose a nice big one. But I later discovered that the bigger it is, the more difficult it is to pack up. That was one of the most challenging things. So setup time and backup time for me is one of the biggest challenging aspects of a ground tent, especially if it's the type with a pole. If it's the pop-up style, that's a lot easier because you can just find a way to fold it. There's a specific way to like roll it up. But if you're using the ones that are with poles, the bigger it is, general rule would be the bigger it is, the more difficult it is to put back together in the bag. And we spent, I think, an hour, 2 hours trying to put it back. My wife, who was my girlfriend then, we were trying to figure it out. It was like an hour or 2 hours of us rolling it. It didn't fit in the bag. So we'd have to unroll it again and then try to roll it up again. And it wouldn't fit in the bag. I don't know. Have you experienced that, Joe?
I think with yes, I've actually had the same tent as yours, like with the one with the video. So actually, the speed is still debatable whether it's slow or fast, because during that time when we were camping, the earlier days, the pop-up tents weren't so popular. So
Yeah.
that would take longer. But nowadays, the pop-ups are everywhere and they're cheap, right? So this is how it looks like. Um, is it on? There. This is how
There
it
it
looks
is.
like, right? This is a quick
Yep.
pop-up tent. So deployment is quick. So the ground tent can still be fast and slow. But one other thing, no, we're still on the pros. One other thing is lightweight. When
Yeah.
you get this is my experience. When you get um, a ground tent, it's only probably this size. No matter how heavy that tent is, it's not gonna weigh 65 kilos, like like a roof tent. In short,
Yes.
you'll be able to keep your roof open if you like to carry other gear and throw the tent inside your car. So that's a good thing to go about. Sige, that's the pros. This is what you've been waiting for. Medyo biased tayo, Ano yung cons? Ay, mali. Cons
I
of
wouldn't say
a cons
I
of a
wouldn't say
ground tent.
biased, but I just I've experienced it, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. Never going back to that. But okay, other cons, as I mentioned,
Cons. Let's start with cons.
repackability. It's not as
Repackability.
easy.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as you think. So that's what I mentioned a while ago. I think, bro, your spelling of Gorund tent needs a little improvement.
Let's hide that.
let's redo that. Pretend no one saw that.
Let's redo that. Yeah.
Okay,
Nobody saw that.
so
No. Okay.
repackability, that's one for me. Another one, if it's not the pop-up tent, it would be also the setup time. Other cons would be, it depends on the ground tent that you get. Some are, how would I say this, are protected from the UV rays, so it doesn't get as hot inside. So it depends on what kind of tent you get, but sometimes these can get hot.
Yeah.
When,
That's true. Okay.
yeah. What else? What else do you have, Joel?
Cons. Okay, I put here. Sleeping on the ground. Cons.
Okay. Acceptable. Yes.
People can debate. Okay, comfort. Okay, hirap i-debate to because you can always say, yeah, well, you know what, Joel, you can buy a inflatable mattress nowadays and put it on the floor. You're still on the floor. The other option is to buy a cot bed, right? Okay, put the cot bed inside. You're off the floor, but you're still not as comfortable because there's no cushions. So that's still one negative for me, that you're sleeping on the floor. Now, the big debate here is ground tents. If you're in the Philippines, or like me, I don't like bugs. So if you're on the ground, you're with the elements. The ants come in if you have food. We don't have much
that's
bears.
what happened also. Ants went in the tent that I was in.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, you know what? Ground or roof tent. If you put food, in your
Food inside,
tent,
there's something
that's
gonna go.
gonna go in. So okay. I'm gonna invalidate that. Okay, that's not a
Okay.
con. But basically, maybe like stray dogs. Yeah, mas madalas yan. If you're in a remote beach, maybe a stray dog running around or a stray cat running around. Yep. So hi Arthun, welcome. The bugs.
Biggest deal breaker.
Sir Joby here. Setting up in the rain is a pain.
Oh yes.
It can get money. Yeah, definitely. So everything that gets you dirty, I think you're likely going to be dirtier after you pack up your ground tent. I think that for me is the...
Not just you. Your tent's going to be muddy and dirty when you pack it up. So when you get home, if you're OC and you really care about your gear, you probably would unroll that again at home, clean it out, and then roll it back again. So there's a little extra steps when you're dealing with a ground tent, right? Yeah.
That's right.
But
so
there are good ground tents, right? So we have a couple here to show you that I think are good options. One personally I was looking at as well, which we'll get into later, but it solves the problem of setup time. It solves the problem of repacking it, making it easy to repack.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll show that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's show that.
Guys, we're trying to be as objective as possible here. Okay, trying. Okay,
Yes,
being the
trying.
operative word. We're trying to show you Because
But we've
again,
seen the
our
light.
objective,
Kasi we've seen the light.
it's not the light. We're trying to
We've
get
seen
you
the
guys
sky.
a, a good idea of what might be right for you. Because again, we may like the other side of it, but pros and cons. So bear with us as we try to work through ground tent pros and cons. Okay, game. What's the brand?
The brand is Gazelle,
All
and the
right.
model
Okay.
is the T4. I wouldn't mind dealing with this tent and sleeping in this tent. A little info about it. Think of it as a pop-up tent because what you do is you unroll it, and then once you unroll it, you basically make it pull out. You pull out some poles. So all the poles are already built in. When you pull it
This
out,
is how the
it sort
Gazelle
of
looks
forms.
like, right?
Yeah. So if you can see the cross in the interior, that little square in the middle, Joel, if you want to put your mouse over it, that little square.
Yep, right here. Yep,
Right
here.
there.
Yeah.
Yep. You push that out from the inside, from all sides, and then also as well on the top, and it basically forms your dome. So this is a really simple tent that sets up quick, packs up quick, and I was actually looking into this. I think price, if I'm not mistaken, it was around 15 to 20,000, somewhere there, pesos. But syempre, this
Okay.
is not a brand available locally. This is from the
Yep.
States.
Cool.
This is nice. I like this. I wouldn't mind having this also. Thinking about it, Joel, you know what? I wouldn't mind having this as an extra to what I have now.
An extra
right?
tent, ano? Pwede, no? Pwede.
Like,
You
let's
know
say
what? I'll give you an option na option na I forgot I have one option that will work for the ground tent.
Okay,
Okay.
show me.
That's comfortable. So you probably
Okay.
seen this before. If you guys heard of a swag, okay, this is a compromise. Have you slept on a swag?
I personally haven't slept in a swag,
Okay.
but I
Actually,
hear good things.
my second option for sleeping, if I really have to sleep on the ground, okay, is the swag tent, because the swag tent for me gives you everything you have in a roof tent. Okay, when I say everything you have, I'm talking about waterproof, cushion, and comfort, except you're still on the ground. Kaya nga ground tent.
Yeah.
So I think I'll show a picture of a swag. Like, what do you think are nice about swags, pa?
Swags, you know what, for me, I keep going back. I always keep going back to how easy they are to set up. For me, setting up of tents is a pain, and I want to deal with something that's quick. For me, if I was going to
So
choose
ayaw mo
a tent,
talaga ng swag?
that's my number one criteria. Swag, I would go for because they're easy to set up and pack up.
Okay,
Plus,
let me
they come
quickly
with
show
the
you how a
package.
swag. So this is kumbaga, if I were to pick a tent that I have to sleep on the floor with, then this is it. Okay, it's the swag. So it's just a swag tent. So if you see a swag tent, it's quick to set up. It has none of that hard to set up multiple poles. It's
Yep.
equipped with a queen size mattress, and it's completely waterproof. It opens on the left and on the right side, so it's completely aired. But again, you're still on the roof. But for quick setups, I wouldn't mind bringing a swag. Pricing, this is on the upper end of the scale. You're talking about between 25 to 30,000, depending on the size of the swag. So this one is available
And
in
if
the
you don't want
market.
to be on the ground with this, if you want to be elevated, you can put a cot under. So that's a good
Right,
option.
that's a hack. I like that hack. So a hack is what Jake is saying is we put a cot bed,
Stretcher bed, like
and
a
then we
stretcher
put a stretcher bed, yeah, basically,
Yeah.
and then put the swag on top. Then you're off the ground, but you're not on the roof tent.
bed. You're not the king of the forest yet.
Yeah, you're not king. Okay, sige. So Atrun, king swag plus stretcher. Yeah, we've done
I
that.
think that's his setup. I think that's what he's running now.
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
Hey,
nice
quick shout out to the guys. Who's
Yeah.
there, Jake?
Who is
Sir
here?
Gilbert.
Raph is here
Miss
again.
Leah. Raf, thank you for watching. Thanks for commenting. So guys, based on what we've discussed, if you just joined us, so we're discussing why we choose to sleep on the roof. And basically, it's the age-old debate of whether a roof tent is for you or a ground tent is for you. So we just finished the pros and cons of the ground tent, and basically ground tents gives you space to stand up in. You're on the ground, you're not climbing up. It can be less expensive to buy, and with the newer pop-up tents, it's probably quicker to set up for some of them. But again, you're still on the ground. Some negatives: bugs, animals, critters. Cool factor, joke lang. uh, so yeah, so those are the main negatives that we have, and you probably get dirty packing it up. And yeah, negatives, you're sleeping on the ground. Yeah, so that's a quick recap for you. So now let's move on to the other side.
Let me add one more pro. If you
Go.
need to take a jingle at night, it's so much easier in a ground tent. Right?
I don't want to visualize how you did that, bro, but sige. Okay.
Let's just forget about that.
All right. Creak, creak, creak. Let's move on to the other side of things.
All right.
Okay, let's go to roof tents.
Let's go. Okay. So for our roof tents, what do we have, Joel? This is like for us overlanders, I think the goal for sleeping sometimes is a roof tent, right?
Uh-huh. So rooftop tents.
What's the first one we're going to discuss today?
Okay. Nadidistract ako sa sounds. Guys, can you comment if you like our sound effects? You know, if you don't like it, we'll just shut it off. So just thumbs up if like, thumbs down. No, don't give a thumbs down. Thumbs up if like, funny face if you don't like it. And we'll get rid of the sound effects.
Thumbs up, yan. All right, sige, go.
All right. How we classified the roof tents? Okay, we're gonna classify it by price from bottom end all the way to the top end. All right, and so let me start it off. Basically, when we talk about roof tents, the first question you want to ask is, aside from price, okay?
Give me a few seconds. Sorry.
Go ahead. The first thing you gotta ask is whether the tent is gonna be soft shell or it's gonna be hard shell. Okay. So let's start at the bottom end. Usually, every time it's a hard shell tent, it's probably gonna be more expensive. And the pros and cons of hard shell versus soft shell is the speed versus the size. Okay, speed versus size. When I say speed, we're talking about how fast it opens up. Hard shells usually open up fast, and soft shells usually take a little bit more time packing down. Okay, how much time? We're talking about in my experience, soft shells will take 15 minutes. If you're by yourself. If you have a bunch of guys helping you, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. But realistically, it's 15 minutes. Hard shells.
That's if you're alone.
That's if you're alone. Yeah, you're traveling alone and you're doing a soft shell tent. Then that will take that's about the time. If you're on a hard shell tent, then seconds, to 1 to 2 minutes, you're done. So we'll show you how it looks like. How about you, Jake? What's your comments on tents?
Well, for roof tents, as you said, the one thing I really like about it, and I'll go back to it again, is the setup time. I don't want to waste my time setting up camp too much. I think if you noticed in our last episode, we talked about how I want to sit down and have a cold drink as soon as possible. So roof tents, I think, especially the hard shell ones, are a good choice for you.
Yeah. So here is a picture. This is to start things off with roof tents. This is the Adventure King's the tourer tent. So basically, this is is it tan? Yeah. So it comes in one color lang naman. So
Wala bang pink?
walang pink yan. Mag-spray paint ka. Yeah. So this is a sample of a soft shell roof tent. Okay. Soft shell roof tents. First thing you got to consider when you're buying roof tents is, number one, it's a long-term investment. It's not something you want to break in a year's time. It should last you. It should last you a long time if you take care of your roof tents properly. So with canvas tents like the King's Tourer tent, it's designed to be waterproof. The canvas is designed to be, I think it's 420 GSM waterproof. So it's supposed to make you even though in a strong wind, in a strong typhoon, you're supposed to be dry. So that's the pros of this tent. And usually the soft shells, they have a annex. This is called the one here in the bottom is called an annex tent. So an annex tent attaches to the roof tent and gives you, if you're a family of 6, it's probably the biggest way to go about it. And
How
it's
many
attached
people
to your
can
car.
fit in the annex, Joel?
If you're sleeping, it's called the 6-person annex, but we know it's probably less than that, probably 4 people.
4 people.
So if you're a family of 6, so you have 2 on the top or 3 on the top, and then bottom you can sleep another 4.
I have a question.
Sure.
Does the annex? I can't tell from the picture. Does it have its own flooring?
Oh, the annex has a covered mat underneath, so water won't go in. It's a sealed.
So it's sealed.
Annex.
It's one. Okay, that's important
Yeah,
because for me, I don't want any bugs crawling in through any cracks or holes or any spots. Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. So this is how it looks like. Okay, now the downside of the soft shell tents. Okay, you see this black thing? That's the downside of a soft shell tent. Every time you want to cover it up, I've had multiple experiences on climbing on over the roof just to get this black thing covered. So that takes a while. So after you're done with this black cover, this is the rain cover to make sure your tent is not exposed when not using. Then it's nice after that it's easy to open. But that's the main problem of a soft shell roof tent. So that's what I don't like about it. Anything else you don't like about it?
It's much lighter, right, compared to the hard shell ones. Or in comparison nowadays, are the hard shell ones a little bit on the same spectrum in terms of weight?
Well, in terms of weight, when we talk about roof tents, we're definitely upwards of 55 to 60 kilos. So the heaviest tents will go up to 80 kilos if you're running a aluminum tent, right? But so that's actually the main difference between a roof tent and a ground tent, the weight. There's a weight penalty. So what does weight penalty do? Weight penalty gives you less fuel mileage. Weight penalty will mean you can't put anything on the roof because basically if you put a roof tent, if you see the car here, it takes at least 3/4 of the roof. So if you like carrying other stuff, then bitin siya. Looks like Deem. Looks like an ARB Simpson with a nice annex. Yep. Generally, the design for rooftop tents that are like these or the soft shells are generally the same. And this is an example from a Front Runner. It also looks good. So this is called the Featherlight tent. So that's a Front Runner Featherlight tent. Also,
nice.
very nice tent. Very nice. So a little different in shade, but we also have, so again, there are different brands out there. So go ahead and shop around. Generally, the price range of roof tents, if ground tents are below 20,000+, roof tents usually start between 50 all the way up to the sky. No matter later, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah, so this is a Front Runner Featherlight tent. So generally, the design is the same. Featherlight tents naman, if you look at it, it doesn't have the overhang. So if you like it smaller, this is slightly lighter than the King's tent, but also a very good pick if you want to go. It's from South Africa. It's Front Runner. How can you go wrong, right?
Can't go wrong with that. Another thing I want to add about in terms of weight on your roof, if that's something that concerns you, especially when you're on the trail, you'd rather have weight on the lower center of gravity, right, Joel? If I'm not mistaken, just to make things a little safer. So if that's a thing that concerns you, you may want to go for something like this over something that's a little heavier, but it's something to think about.
That's right.
Yep.
Looking at some comments here, Sir Anton, nakikita ko yung ganong swag doon sa Australian Four-Wheeled Action. It's exactly the same, sir. So we have that slow plug. Overland Kings has that, so you can message us later about it. What about a hammock tent? What's a hammock tent?
Oh, I've seen those. You know what?
Is that those hammock that you put on the roof?
No. A hammock tent is You basically sling it on a tree, same way you do with a regular hammock. But the thing is, when you climb in, you can zip it up like a cocoon, and it's your own little. So you're up and away again from the ground, which I think is a luxury. That's a good point. Who was the one who pointed that out?
Gilbert. Sir Gilbert. Sir Gilbert, thank you for that suggestion. So,
Yeah.
hammock tent.
Yes.
Here you go. Is this it? So,
Yes, something like that. That's what I've seen. Yep.
this is a hammock tent. Let me check it out. So, there. That's a good option too. I haven't seen this here. And given the situation of our camping in the Philippines, I don't think there are much trees.
But you could, if you're traveling, if you're overlanding with a buddy, you can sling it onto his bull bar, and then on your bull bar.
Sige na nga. In between two cars, okay, fine. In between two cars.
That'll work. That's fine. There's always a way to MacGyver it, right?
Yep. So that's a good option. Yeah. So, guys, hinga tayo sandali. Napapagod ako sa before we get into the next one. So we've tackled the soft shell tent. So just to recap again, heavyweight. But you know what? Roof tents. Ano pros na nilagay natin? What are your pros on the...
For roof tents, what we were saying that it's easier to set up, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's cleaner in terms of when you're packing it. Like we had a trip recently. It was raining nonstop. Our tents were covered and wet. Our tents were really hammered by the rain and all of that. And when we packed it up, no issues in terms of mud. That's a good pro. What are the other ones?
Your tent's in a different league, bro.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, okay. So there, soft shell tents. Okay, let's do some giveaways, yeah? Let's do our giveaways.
Let's do some giveaways. What do we have there, Joel?
All right. Guys, by the way, so we've learned that if we're gonna do giveaways, we're gonna make this rule from it. So our giveaways are gonna be, you gotta have to pick it up. It's we're having trouble sending everything out, so it's gonna be in the shop. So message us after the show, and your prizes will not go away. It's all there, I promise you.
Hey,
but just message us at Overland Kings.
The perk of picking it up at the shop is you get to see all the other stuff and toys there.
Yeah, so just pick it up in the shop.
It's dangerous.
Okay.
Okay.
But game. What are we showing?
What are we
tonight?
Giving away.
So since COVID ang ano natin, no? So this is our giveaway for tonight. We're giving away our limited edition drum roll.
Wala akong drum roll eh. May plus na ako.
Walang drum roll. Face mask. Tada!
Yay! Ganda. That looks legit.
For the guys who are watching us, I know a lot of you are friends, so you know what this means. So ito yung joke namin lagi. So we have the limited edition. Yan, last piece na. Last piece na face mask. So this would be okay. So we have that, and then we also have this design. Okay, let's show the other design. Ano yung isang favorite natin na word, Jake?
Something to do with pressure, right?
Yeah. So these are the no pressure and last piece na Overland Kings face mask. By the way, just a short plug, and I think Print Oven. So guys, if you want to have something like this done, so check out Print Oven. They're the guys who designed and make it for us for this face mask. So thank you, Print Oven. By the way, we paid for it, okay? So we're just helping them out. So yeah, so check them out. No pressure. So what's the question? Hi, Peter Tanchi Jr. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hello. Who else is on the stream? Let's say hi to some people before we give it away. While you think of a question, Joel, what are your questions tonight? Hi to Mr. Ryan Gallagher.
My man.
Your wife is also here. Carolyn's here. And hello to Elaine is also here. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hi, Elaine. You want, Elaine, do you want the no pressure mask or you want the last piece na mask? O yan.
Take your pick.
Make, take your pick.
Okay, what's the question, bro?
Okay, the question. What is the name of the first roof tent that we mentioned? They just messaged there. What is the name of the first one to message out? Will get the face mask. Okay, what's the name, or what are some of the brands that we talked about in terms of what rooftop tents are there? Okay, so just put it out there. We'll wait for you. So we'll give you like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
My wife is on the background checking it. Jules, no, bro, that is not the name of the tent. All right, let's move on, Jake.
That's a new brand of tent if I ever heard one. Jules, maybe you should come up with your own brand that's like that. Jules, awesome.
Yeah.
Rooftop tent.
Oh, I think we have a winner. I saw it.
You?
Sir Deem, I saw the first answer. Front runner. Okay, well, congratulations to Sir Deem. Oh, shout out to Jeff Rojas in the house. Yeah.
Welcome to the
What's
show.
up, Jeff? Thanks for watching us. All right, let's go on. The next tent. What are
What's
we doing?
our next tent, Joel?
All right, now we move up the scale. Let's jump straight to
Scale in
iCamper.
terms
Yeah.
of price or what?
Cool factor.
Cool factor. Okay, let's go. Show me what you got. What's the next one?
All right, I am gonna go for this tent. Let's see the video. All right, guys, here we go.
The X cover by my favorite brand. I am so biased. Maybe I should.
What's up, Tim Esperas? Shout out with exclamation point.
That's a big shout out.
I have a feeling everybody's having D group and I'm absent and they're all here.
Caught in the act. Okay,
So,
what
this is the
X cover, Joel?
X
Tell us
cover.
a little bit. Yeah.
Now we go up in the features, right? So the X cover, one of the main features that I like about the X cover, it has a crossbar. So for the guys who are adventurous, like you see there's a surfboard on the top. So what you can do is you can still mount your surfboard, you can still mount your bikes, you can still mount any other thing that you're carrying around on top of your roof tent, which is a unique feature that no other roof tent can do. So that's the main feature of the iCamper X cover.
And
Yeah, so
it's a
again,
king-size bed.
That's right. So
With
how
a
many
built-in
people can we
mattress.
sleep there?
It depends on the size of the person.
So big boys,
Big boys,
won't fit.
Kung tayong dalawa, medyo, you know,
Medyo hagi-wagi tayo dyan, Brad.
medyo sweet tayo dyan.
Delikado tayo dyan. So there, so the X cover, what it does, it's still a soft top tent, but a soft top tent without going to cover up the X cover, meaning there's no cover, right? So the X cover gives you the benefit of doing the pack up time. It's still faster. So that's what I like with the X cover.
So this one, what you're saying is once you close it, you basically just zip it up, right?
Yep.
There's no cover
That's
to go over. That's why it's the X. The X,
X cover.
X.
All right, so that's the end of the soft shell. Let's move on to the hard shell rooftop tents, where this is where the price ladder. Okay, guys, price point.
Hey, wait.
Soft
Can I add
shells.
something?
Okay, go.
The X cover tent, there's actually a mini version, right? That just came out.
Yeah, the iCamper. No, it's the iCamper Mini, not the X cover.
Okay, but it's a mini.
Yep.
So how much smaller compared to the X cover?
Well, a mini is just good for two. So if you want to sleep 4 people, the first 3 options we showed, we have the Front Runner Featherlight, we have the King's Tour tent, and the iCamper X cover will definitely fit that criteria. Now let's move on to the hard shell tents.
Yeah. All right. This is
Hard
where
shell.
we get to a different level, right? in terms of price. And
Okay,
okay, yeah, take us through.
here we
Joe.
go.
So that's the Mini. That's what you were talking about, right?
Yep. This is the start of the Mini.
Okay, built-in ladder.
So sleeps 2 people.
Okay.
The Mini fits in a Mini, obviously.
The perk, I think, of this is you can still have space on your roof if you still plan on carrying.
There you go.
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that.
I like this photo because you know what? One of the major cars that we use is a pickup. And this model of the iCamper gives the option here in the back where you can just mount it on a bed rack. So you can still use your roof rack for any other gear that you want. So you can use your pickup bed and it looks cool closed up. So
It looks
that's one of the things I
cool.
like about the Mini.
I think the Mini comes in 2 options, right? You can get it in glossy or Line-X, right?
Ah, Line-X, yes. So Line-X is an option that, you know what, bro? I don't think I want to talk about all of the things that are the. It's obvious we love the iCamper.
Yeah.
We're too biased for iCamper, sir, or Liver. Yeah, nice iCamper. Yeah, I know, right? We love the iCamper.
We love it so much. But you know, I think when you sleep in it, you'll also sort of be an iCamper fanboy. But yeah, until then.
The thing with iCampers, it's made in Korea, and the detail to every little thing is just there. Like they have the straps that go on the side, so that you don't have to go up the roof when you're closing it. When you close your tent, you have your own key to lock it, so nobody else uses your tent. All these little things make the iCamper special. Also, Jake, I think I'm gonna turn it over because you know what? Among all the tents that we have, Jake is the one that's running an iCamper. What do you like about your iCamper?
I like how it looks. That's one major factor, right? When it's closed up, especially, it doesn't look like a normal roof tent that looks sort of an eyesore. I believe that this one it has some aerodynamic look to it, and you can you really won't know what it is until you see it and open it up. And you know, there's always that wow factor when people see it open. So I've demoed it a couple of times to some friends, like at home. That's how easy it is to set up, and all the reactions are the same. It's just like, whoa, what is that? You sleep in that? And yeah, and that's a king size bed inside. So me and my wife are very comfy inside. We have a lot of space. We can fit several kids in the future. Hi to my dad watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's a great piece of equipment to have on the road, especially for your trips. So if you see there, it's huge.
Yep. The iCamper, the iCamper Sky Tent 2.0 is the biggest tent that you can fit. So Tim Esperas, how about family of 6, 2 adults and 4 kids?
Ages 6 and under.
All the way from the tourer tent, all the way to the iCamper Sky Tent, right there on this video right now. The iCamper Sky Tent comes with an annex. So here we go. This is how it looks like. Yeah, that's the iCamper.
See how they thought about every single detail here is crazy. And even until now, even until now, when I'm staying in the tent, I still discover some new things about it that I'm like, oh, so there's this feature to do this little thing and make it a little more convenient. So yeah, I'm always discovering new things about it. So it's really nice.
So, you know what? Without getting too in love with the roof tent, let's go back to why we love it. Love. Pros and cons.
Wait.
Okay, guys,
we
let's
also
go
have to
back.
talk about the cons, because there are cons as well.
Cons.
We don't just
Okay.
love it.
Okay. Let's go cons. Before we lose credibility. Okay, go. Cons.
Okay, before we lose
Cons.
credibility, wait. Let's make it clear. We are not sponsored. This is not sponsored by iCamper.
We are not sponsored,
Cons.
by the way. This is stuff that we love. Okay, go.
Yes. Cons to the iCamper, roof tent, and roof tents in general. If you are the type of person who has a small bladder in the middle of the night and you have to go down and take a jingle, it will take some extra efforts. Yeah.
That's right.
So that's one thing I don't like. So I've experienced that a couple of times, and it's not I would say a deal breaker, but it's something to consider, right? It's something that you don't look forward to.
I don't like the roof tent if you have to stand up inside. You can't change inside a roof tent. There's no way for you to stand up. If you're in a roof tent, the best solution you have is to sit down. That's the penalty. For me, that's number one. Number two that I don't like about it, so we'll talk about a couple of things. Number two, weight penalty. The iCamper, that's roughly 80, 85 kilos. So imagine this. It's like me holding onto your roof while traveling.
That's a picture. We should have that photoshopped.
So imagine that. You're adding one person on top with your gear, right? So those are the things that I don't like about it. Price penalty, okay? The iCamper cost a whopping 258,000. I didn't say that wrong. 258,000 pesos. Yeah. That is the standard pricing of iCamper, and it's really expensive. But it comes with all the warranties, and it's really nice. So I don't know if that's a penalty for you, but like I said, depends how you look at it. And we're just putting down the pros and the cons.
Yeah,
of
depends on
these
your priorities again. Like if you don't mind sleeping in the ground, if you don't mind sleeping on a different situation that's cheaper and spend the money on something you rather spend it on, then again, we go back to what's your purpose, what is your goal for overlanding, right? So,
yep. Ryan, is it made of gold? Well, there's the thing. After you buy the iCamper and you go home, you're sleeping on the iCamper for sure.
And if you get into any
once your wife finds out you bought it,
you're sleeping straight.
You're sleeping straight.
You're sleeping straight into the iCamper.
Yeah, most probably. So there. So those are my cons. Good sides of it. Okay, let's talk about some good sides we already mentioned, but let me just put it down in a more comprehensive way. We were just all over the things that we love. The roof tent is a pro if you like it as a mobile base. See, when we're overland traveling, some people, when you get to a destination, you like to stay there 2 days, you like to stay there 3 days. You don't you don't have to move your car around. That's where the ground tent wins. If you don't move your car around and you want it in a mobile base, it's perfect. It has annexes. You can put awnings around it. So your vehicle becomes a mobile fort. And the roof tents are generally wind resistant. So I've been on a storm with howling winds, and I haven't broken a rooftop tent. So they're pretty good. So it's good for mobile base. It's good for inclement weather if the place you're going to are in mud or sand. Okay. One other thing. If you're on a roof tent, you don't have to find flat ground when you're pitching. That's a big thing. On a ground tent, you always have to find some nice patch where it's relatively flat without grass before you pitch it down. On a ground tent. On a roof tent, you're in the middle of the road, wag naman sana, or on a trail, you park your car, just put some rocks or logs underneath to make sure your car is somewhat level. You pop up your roof tent, you're good to go. So that's 3. Number 4, I like the view.
Yes, definitely.
If you're in a roof tent, you're like on a second floor. It's basically
a treehouse
sleeping on top of the car.
It's a treehouse.
Treehouse.
Who doesn't want a treehouse? Who doesn't want a treehouse? Did you want a treehouse growing up, though?
I think Paul has a treehouse in his house. So yeah, so everybody kind of wants a treehouse. So that's number 4. And number 5, it's just cool. Like every time you go somewhere, every time I put up a rooftop tent, somebody would always ask, "Hey, what's that?" Right? Or
that's the view.
What's the feature?
That's the view.
Yeah. So you get a bird's eye view of wherever you're parked. So that's my pros for roof tent. What's your pros and cons, Jake?
I completely agree with everything you said. I just like to add one more to the con. I'm not sure if you mentioned this. You mentioned it for ground tents. If you want to go out and play,
Mhm.
ground tents are great. If you don't, if you
Yep.
for another con for the rooftop tent is you can't go out and do an off-road trail on the fly. You'll have to take down your rooftop tent. You'll have to pack it up before you go and play around, and then when you get back, you'll have to set it up again. It depends, though. It'll be fine if your tent is like the Sky Camp, which doesn't take too much effort to set up. But it's something to think about, especially if you're the type who likes to take your car and do a little more extreme trails before you head back to camp.
Yep.
Yep,
Um,
that's one of my
one more.
cons.
Yeah, we'll give you one more option. After the hard shell, there is such a thing called the aluminum tent. So this is what an aluminum tent looks like.
The Grand Tourer aluminium rooftop tent is genuinely designed by campers for campers. The immense amount of R&D we've put into this incredible bit of gear means it's a rooftop tent that has amazing quality and features at a price that simply blows the competition away.
So
Here's
rooftop
5
aluminum
design
rooftop
features
tents have
rooftop tent, the
clamshell.
ultimate
So
rooftop
just some
tent.
features.
First of all, its shape is aerodynamic. The streamlined design cuts through the air, saving you money at the bowser. There's 130 mil of internal space once the tent is folded down. That's enough room to leave the ladder, poles, as well as your pillows and blankets, saving heaps of room
that's a
inside
pro.
your vehicle.
Forgot
It
about
has
that.
3 access points, one on either side and one at the rear.
You just
So if you're
throw it
running
in there,
2
right?
awnings or
Yep.
a 270-degree king wing awning, you can still access inside the tent. It has a genuine 2-minute setup. Even with one person, your sleeping setup is sorted as fast as it takes to grab a beer out of the fridge. The accessory rails allow you to customize your rooftop tent with awnings, lights, or even solar without drilling, screwing, or gluing that can affect the tent's integrity. The Grand Tourer aluminium rooftop tent was designed by campers for campers. It's refined, tested, and suited to Australian conditions. If you want an aluminium rooftop tent that'll perform day in,
Yes,
day
I
out,
want
then
one.
the Grand Tourer
So
aluminium
convincing.
rooftop tent is for
Convincing
But
yung kwento, no?
Super
Go.
convincing. I think you have this tent right available, and I think you did something fun with this.
I don't have that picture, but yes, that's
Don't have
actually
that
the one
picture.
on our banner.
Yeah, why don't you tell our
let me-
viewers about it?
So if you look at here, let me show the banner quickly. I don't know if we become silent. This is one of the tents I'm running right now. One of, because I run different tents. This aluminum tent in the back here has a balcony. So I created a second floor balcony for the Land Cruiser pickup. So you
With
get out of
grass.
your tent, then put fake grass. So you get to sit outside there on the second floor and go inside when you're gonna sleep. So that's one of the things we put up with a balcony. So yeah, that was fun. That was a fun little project we did.
So there's actually some multiple options you can do with a rooftop tent, multiple styles of builds, and you can get creative with it. I like what you did there.
Yep. So there, those are my pros and cons. What are other things that that you want to add to our rooftop tent conversation?
I think we've said enough pros. Do we have any other cons?
So
But seriously,
you know what? So I think it's time for us to sum it all up, right? To sum it all up. So is a rooftop tent for you or a ground tent for you? Again, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we have to look at what lifestyle you're into. If you're on a tight budget, the most important thing is you go out. Whether you're running a rooftop tent or not, all I encourage you to do is go out. No need to splurge on that rooftop tent. But
always
if you're
borrow.
looking, really? No, joke lang. You can borrow. If actually that's just the tip of the iceberg what we've discussed, but we've given you some pros and cons. So the rooftop tents gives us more flexibility in terms of the number of models out there. Man, it's just right now it's a good time to be adventuring, because before You want a tent, you have one model. Right now, you have so much more options that you want. You got from the low end to the high end. You got roof racks, you got rails, you got awnings, you got freezers that you can run 12 volt systems in the roof tents to give you power. So
Yes.
basically, the options are endless. Uh, just for wagons, less room for storage on the roof. But man, I want one. Yeah, everybody wants a rooftop tent.
Everyone
But
wants
at
one.
the end of the day,
Oh wait, there's another
it's
one
what
here
you.
from Sir BRG.
Yeah, what's
Price.
there?
He said the height. You kill your
Height.
clearance. So if
I like
you're
that.
running a
That's a
daily
con. That's a
driver,
con.
that's a definite con. So
Yep, yep.
goodbye to going to basement parking lots if you're planning on running a rooftop tent on your daily driver, or if you're someone constantly using your overland car as your everyday vehicle. Good point there. Yes.
So, again, some questions to consider before buying one. Number one, uh, how and what do you use your rig for? That's one question you have to ask. I wrote down here, what and how do you use your rig for? When I say how do you use your rig, is your car a dedicated vehicle for adventuring? If it is, then we can outfit it. Because like that comment, if we put a rooftop tent, you're not getting into all of the major underground parkings of malls. You're not going to Rockwell. You're not going to Greenbelt. You're not going, definitely not going to Shangri-La. That's probably what you probably get stuck with a stock car, and that's how low Shangri-La is. But the point is, there will be height penalty. And then second question you gotta ask is to decide whether you want to do a roof or a ground tent is what type of adventures are you into? If you like more mobile, you want to set up your tent and leave the tent and go out, go ground tent. Mobile fort, roof tent, right? So, Jake, so
Yes.
to wrap things up, so what are your main conclusions for your choice?
Well,
What
my
is your
main
choice for
conclusions
what tents? Yep.
for myself is I choose a rooftop tent for the comfort, the speed, and yeah, I sacrifice the clearance in terms of the parking in the malls and all of that. But it's a small price to pay, especially when you go on your trips. But for me, as Joel mentioned, you have to think about again what is your priority when you're overlanding. And for me, one of my priorities was being able to sleep well and comfortably, especially with my wife, who's also new to this whole hobby. And for her, a good night's sleep on a nice king size mattress
Nice.
got the approval to continue and keep going with this hobby. So she's enjoying it as well. And like even during this lockdown, she's looking forward to it. She's been itching to go out as well, not just me. And I think it's
Nice.
because of the rooftop tent that we're sleeping in, and yeah, it's just something we miss. I wouldn't mind sleeping in it now if we had no place to sleep in. It's a great place.
Cool.
Probably maybe I'll sleep there right now.
Yeah, bring your fan. Don't forget the fan.
Bring the fan. Yeah, I have a ceiling fan that's battery operated, and it can yeah, well, maybe that's another episode.
Yeah, we'll do another one.
We'll do
Guys,
it.
comment on what you want us to talk about next. For any topics, do message us on our page, comment
Yes,
on
please.
Facebook or on YouTube. Please do. Yeah, so my final take, for me, I choose, at the end of the day, I am a roof tent type of guy. I've done both the ground and the roof tents. I've compared at least 5 to 6 roof tents. And I am currently running X-Cover and a King's aluminum tent. I like the X-Cover because it's easy. I can do it myself. I can mount a bike if I want to. I can put stuff if I want to on the top. You can put your max tracks up there and recovery gear. I run the aluminum tent on the other side because it's probably the fastest to deploy. But if I had the choice and I had to merge all of them together, it would be the iCamper. The iCamper Sky Tent, for me, is probably the ultimate or the Rolls Royce of roof tents. And their quality and their build quality and longevity will definitely be something to consider. So there, Jake.
Sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Definitely
Yeah, so-
not sponsored. Okay.
So again, guys, we want to thank you for joining us again tonight. We know there are a lot of things to do for you guys, and we do appreciate you watching us. And hopefully our little show here, the Overland Show, has helped you be entertained and have a little bit of an info on whether the ground tent and roof tent is good for you or which one is right for you. Please don't hesitate to message us if you have any questions. We'll be glad to answer you. And till the next week, we'll be here Tuesday, 9 p.m., same time, same place at the Overland Show. Yep. So, Jake, any last words for you?
Let's go. Let's go on a trip.
Let's go on the trip.
Get out. Let's
All
get
right.
out.
So with that, I'm going to play
right.
end credit. So again, stay safe, stay indoors always. Only go out if needed. Okay, let's not make this any harder for all of us. God bless. We'll see you next week.